top 25, 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 top 25. Basketball Hustle TV.
All right, folks. Today's a great day because today we have the Basketball Hustle TV Top 25 Scouting Report. We are here at Martino's on Vine Street, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45219. You can come in, dine in, or carry out. Also, check out the website. That's martinosonvine.com. And, folks, we're going to get right into it. First, let me introduce our panel of coaches and special guests. To my left, Coach Berto Allen from the Gamble Gators. Chump, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Can't complain, won't complain. To my immediate right, Mr. Corey Albertson of Triple Double Prospects. How you doing, boss?
Doing great, man.
Good. To my far right, the legend, the man, the myth, from Walnut Hills High School, Coach Ricardo Hill.
What's up, everyone?
I'm glad that we have you back, and we're going to get through this. I know there's been a lot of debate. In the interest of journalistic fairness, I want you all to know that we initially did a top 25 showcase as far as our rankings are concerned, and after a lot of debate and deliberation, we have decided to do another show, and the results of that show with the final list is today. So you're going to get the most updated list that we have, and we're going to start it out right now.
Basketball Hustle TV, number 25.
None other than out of Clark Montessori High School in Cincinnati, Jacob Mackel. For me, when I think of Jake, the biggest thing is his mental toughness. You know, here's a kid who transferred schools. Once he transferred, there was a lot of things in the background that people don't know about and speculated on, which caused his eligibility to be taken away for a full year. And, you know, it hurt him, you know, emotionally, but it didn't break him. And for him to see what he's going to do this coming year, see how he played on the AAU circuit, you talk about a kid that is mentally tough. Jacob does it for me. I'm a big fan of him, and I think he'll have a great year. Care to chime in, Coach?
Yeah, Jacob is, I think Jacob has a chip on his shoulder. And I think with him being at Clark this year, he'll definitely be their best player. And I think it'll help him because he has to be the man, similar to how he was at Batavia.
Right.
And so I think he's going to put up some good numbers. What he's going to have to stay is injury free. He had a couple injuries over the last couple AAU seasons, so a lot of the coaches couldn't see what he really can do. Right. But he has good bounce. He'll go to the hole and dunk on you. He shoots it. He's a streaky shooter. But he's one of those guys that has the ability to put up a lot of numbers really, really quick.
Absolutely. Corey.
Yeah, tough kid. He's going to have a big year. Was in the 20s in points per game at Batavia.
Yeah.
As a sophomore, I know he averaged a lot. Can shoot it. You could tell with him he's really, really worked hard on not being a shooter, but becoming a combo guard, if not a point guard. And his body's gotten better. He's become more athletic, so definitely one of the harder workers on this list.
Coach Hill, Coach Allen, care to chime in on this?
We scrimmaged against Clark last year. Prior to them deeming him ineligible. Tough kid, was getting to the rack against us. Look forward to playing against him in November in another scrimmage once again. So I'll be able to give a better assessment of him in November.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's a good kid. Like I said, mentally tough, and I know all of us here appreciate guys that are mentally tough.
Basketball Hustle TV, number 24.
We're going to move on to number 24. That is none other than Sam Martin out of Summit Country Day. Coach, what do you think?
Oh, here we go again. I met Sam in the 6th grade. The kid was shooting the ball from 22 feet, had a great handle. He's a son of a basketball coach, so he knows how to play the game the right way. His father was a pretty good college basketball player, I believe. Coach Martin held records at, was it Rawlings he went to? Three-point shooting, I believe it was 51%. So the kid has been taught really well, has a great handle, tough competitor, tough kid, doesn't get rattled. Really impressed me against Taft this past year. Their pressure had no effect on him. We broke him down. He's a winner. Very great basketball IQ. He's a stand-up guy, highly skilled, makes players better. I can go on about Sam Martin. I'm a big-time fan of this kid.
Okay, Coach Hill, I know you were chomping at the bit. Go ahead.
No, I love Sam. Sam is one of those guys that does whatever it takes to win. He shoots the three really good. He handles the ball. He doesn't turn it over. I mean, we played when he was at St. X before he went to Summit. We played him for a few years. I mean, as a freshman, he was a little frail kid that held his own, and always just been a big fan of him.
Corey?
Yeah, Sam's just another tough, competitive, small point guard like we've talked about. Like Tyler Mitchell, he's got a lot of flair to his game, but at the same time, he's a winner. Does a lot of different things. Switched over from St. X to Summit, and even after day one, the kids are listening to what he's going to say. They have a chance to have a really good team. If they can get past Roger Bacon, they can have a state championship team, and Sam's a huge part of that. And you also got to remember, I don't know if he's going to play basketball or soccer at the next level, but he spends most of his year playing soccer. And, basketball is just a part of what he does. He's just a really good athlete and a tremendous, tremendous student.
Basketball Hustle TV, number 23.
At number 23 out of Moeller High School, none other than Keegan McDowell. Corey, I know you were big on him, getting him on here. He's a Moeller guy. Yeah. You seem to have a love affair with Moeller. Please, tell us about it.
I'm actually more of a LaSalle guy because Dan Fleming went to Summit where I went, just for the record.
Okay.
But, no, I'm just kidding. But Keegan can score. He's a shooter, and he's got great size. He's got great bloodlines. His brother, Quinn, ended up going to William and Mary, playing professional basketball. He's got sisters that have played Division I sports. He just comes from an athletic family, really skilled, has a good feel for the game, and didn't shoot the ball last year as well as he would have liked to. And I'm sure that's been weighing on him. I think he's going to have a really big senior season on a Moeller team. Nobody's going to average 20 points at Moeller the way they play.
Absolutely.
But I think Keegan will probably end up being the guy who averages the most points.
Absolutely. Coach Hill.
How about he make the top 25, and it's a guy on his team that may play that same position a little better than him right now, Jeremiah Davenport. But Keegan is a heck of a shooter.
He is. And having coached Jeremiah Davenport in the summer, I could honestly see why you said that.
Basketball Hustle TV, number 22.
Okay, moving on to number 22 in the Basketball Hustle TV top 25 high school boys scouting report. None other than out of Princeton High School, Dominic Pierce. I'll chime in on it. This happens to be my nephew. Did I fight for him to get on the list? Yes, I did. Was I justified in my fight and my efforts? Yes, I was. And the reason why, I'll say this flat out, when it comes down to it, there's a term that we coaches use as, he could be in my foxhole. When there's a fight that needs to happen and I need to know that the guys in my foxhole are going to fight, not to mention because he's my blood, but just because he wants to win.
Right.
He's been bred that way. We teach competitiveness and winning. And we're not happy when we don't win. But I tell you, he goes to battle every night in the GMC. He's at one point he was averaging close to 12 rebounds a game in the GMC. Second half of the year, coaches wised up, which they do in the GMC. Every time he went to the boards, he got double-teamed, triple-teamed at times. But he still ended up the season averaging around 8 boards a game. Led the GMC in blocks with around 4 per game, something like that. 2 per game. And average close to 8 points a game. The one thing I'll say about my nephew is he's not going to wow you with, in terms of high school, at least as of right now, he's not been wowing you with numbers as far as like his point production. But when you get to a stat sheet and you look, and there's something in every column, that's something to be said. it could be a game where he has 6 points, but he'll have 11 rebounds and 3 blocks and 2 steals and 3 assists. So, you know, being a stat stuffer, that kind of, you know, trumps, you know, a lot of the whole thing, oh, well, he's not putting up points. Well, and another thing people have to realize is my nephew at 6'4.5" is battling playing in the post in the GMC. So on average, he's guarding somebody at minimum 6'6", and still handling his business at 6'4", guarding the top post players in the GMC.
And
so
he's a Leon Ellison guy.
Yes,
and
he
I
is.
think that's, you know, Coach Ellison, when he took the Princeton job, was, you know, worrying about, you know, we got to get some of these kids tougher. With Dominic Pierce, that's not a problem. And him being a junior now, you know, still young, but being a junior now, he's going to kind of take that leadership role as just a tough kid, plays the 3, plays the 4. It doesn't really matter. And, you know, he's a kid. We got a lot of kids on this list, you know, James Johnson, Grownman, Malik Green, Ryan Batay, who kind of have that 3-4 tweener type of thing, but they're going to be productive and they're going to be winners, and that's what Dominic is to me. And also, I think his mid-range jump shot, his ability to face up and shoot, is very, very underrated. He's always a kid I've enjoyed being around.
Basketball Hustle TV, number 21.
moving on to number 21 on the Basketball Hustle TV Top 25 High School Boys Scouting Report, none other than Cameron Gibson out of Cincinnati Walnut Hills High School, coached by none other than Coach Ricardo Hill here. Coach, he's your kid. You know him better than all of us. Tell us about him.
I think with Cameron's a 6'3" point guard. That's highly skilled. He can shoot it a little. He can shoot it. He can drive. He makes good decisions with the ball. He hits free throws. I mean, the kid is probably, or he was one of the top secrets in the state because he didn't play a lot of AAU this past year. He was playing baseball, and then he played the last session in July.
What year is he?
But he's only a junior, and I will put him against anybody in this state on any level. But the kid, Miami came and watched our open gym a couple days ago, and Cam just showed out, and then they said that day, like, can he come visit tomorrow? And Cam went up there and played against their guys yesterday and played well. But he's just, the sky's the limit for him, and he still may grow.
Corey?
Yeah, Cam is just smooth, just super smooth. He's one of those kids, he just has a lot of game. And some of these athletes, you know what they're going to do on the court. Him with his whole skill package of moves, you never know what he's going to do. He has an extremely smooth game. He's a kid who right now, we're putting him at 21. If we do this postseason, he might be top 10. He's that talented. He keeps growing every time. And I just remember a couple weeks ago, we have open gym. We got some of the best kids from Dayton, Columbus, Cincinnati. Darius Basil's in the gym, and Ricardo and I are talking, saying he might be the best or top 3 kid in here when it's all said and done. He has that much upside. Just a really, really good kid.
Basketball Hustle TV, number 20.
All right, we're moving on to number 20 on our top 25 report here. None other than the Grownman out of Taft. Grownman, his real government name, I should say, is Christian Stringer, but we all know him as Grownman out of Taft. We all have seen him play. Coach, I'll start with you.
Taft guy, hard-nosed, tough, get to the basket, really good defender at the high school level. Must, in all caps, he must develop a jump shot, because teams this year are not want to allow him to bully them to the basket and just allow him to drive. Good high school basketball player, has played against top competition on the AAU circuit. He's a winner, hard-nosed, play for me any day. Develop that jump shot.
Cool.
Yeah, I agree with what Coach Berto said, but at the same time, I think he's still going to bully some people, because it's easier said than done in terms of stopping that. And
True.
Whether it's football or basketball, he's going to be successful because of his toughness, his athleticism, his strength. the one thing about Grownman is he's kind of what we call a tweener in the scouting industry.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a position. His ball skills got to keep improving, but he does a lot of things. And, when you have Malik Green and Grownman as your two best players, you got hard-nosed, athletic kids, and that's what Taft basketball has always been about.
And Krishan's a winner. He's always been a winner. He's always been a tough kid. And he bullied people as a freshman.
Easily, too.
That's how he got the grown man name.
So he bullied that as a freshman. So and he didn't get weaker.
Absolutely.
And there've been guys on the statewide level that keep saying, well, this kid's gonna pass Grownman, this kid's gonna pass Grownman as they get older. But I want to see it because in terms of heart, that's always going to win out. As a high school player, if you're significantly stronger than everybody else, that negates height and skill to an extent.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Basketball Hustle TV, number 19.
Number 19 on our top 25 scouting report is Terry Durham out of Woodward. Now, if there was ever a player in our top 25 that is just mind-blowing and intriguing, in my opinion, it has to be Terry. We all know who Terry is. We all know what he's capable of doing on the floor. But can we get Terry to do it on the floor during the winter when it's really time for it to happen? Finish out a season. Because in AAU, you look at him and you're like, gee whiz, he's an issue. Can we get him through a full season? That's what I would say. And if he ends up watching this, hey, man, I'm not trying to beat you up or nothing because I like you, man. I want to see you do well. Get your mind right so you can finish out this season and be the player that we all know you can be. Because, you're sitting at 19 now. You could easily be a top 10 caliber type guy.
Absolutely.
Easily. But get it together, man, and finish out the year strong. We want to see that happen. And, I tell you what, we'll start with you, Coach Allen, and we'll just go down the line because we all know him.
Guess what? I got another headache. He plays for Woodward, with Will Coker,
Right.
with Lonnie Berry, with Little Cain, and those other guys. And we don't have an answer for him. Luckily we have until January to see what goes on. To get ready for this guy, he's a monster. He reminds me of a version of Paul McMillan of when he played, of his coach. Paul was a nasty guy. Terry's nasty.
Yeah.
He's mean. He rebounds, looks to dunk on you. If he gets it together up here, like you said, he's an issue and has a pretty bright future.
Corey.
Yeah, I unfortunately don't know Terry very well personally, but I've been impressed. I've seen him a lot. Seen him play, last year when he should be playing 16 UAU, he's playing 17 UAU, and he's still the strongest kid on the court by far.
Crazy.
So, athletically, he could play the 4, he can play the 3. He's going to have to become a 2-3 because of his size. But he's a tough kid, and I was impressed with him. He came to one of our open gyms early this fall, and he's playing against the Hughes and the Taft kids are playing together, and he's going right at Malik Green as if to say, and not as if to say, he was saying to him, verbally, I'm here to stay. I'm here, I'm coming in to take over the City League, and that's the type of talent and toughness and just power that Terry Durham has.
You think he's done growing?
Yes.
Probably.
Probably so.
I would agree. I think he's about done too. Coach Hill?
Yeah, Terry, he comes from, he has a real good bloodline. So a couple of his brothers play ball. But if Terry, like we said before, and we've always said, if he keeps his head right, then he'll be one of the best players in the state. Unfortunately, if he doesn't, then he can be one of the worst. He can be one of them guys that we talk about as a playground legend.
Red ball legend.
Right.
And it just depends. He's on that fence. Which side is he gonna jump on?
Can he handle tough coaching?
That's a great question.
I
Because
think
Paul McMillan don't play.
I think it says something about the kid for going that route, because he didn't have to. He could have pick and choose. Well, not pick and choose, but
He could have quit altogether.
in essence, yeah, no doubt. And I think for him to pick that route is saying something that he knows he needs that.
That's a good answer.
Man.
Hall of old school coach. Old school tough nose.
And you heard it right here, Terry. You heard it from the four of us. If we can get you to get it together up here and just channel whatever it is inside of you, you channel that and put it out there into something that's going to be beneficial to your future, man, the sky is the limit. And you trust and believe you'll have a big fan right here, right now.
I love him already.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, we are here at Martino's on Vine Street in Cincinnati, Ohio, 45219. Down here at Martino's, you can come in and dine in. You can take it as a carry-out. They also do catering for all your parties. Check them out, martinosonvine.com.
Basketball Hustle TV, number 18.
Absolutely. Number 18 on our list out of Roger Bacon High School is none other than Justin Johnson. Coach Hill, care to chime in on Justin?
Yeah, Justin is one of those guys that's very athletic. Right now, he's probably projecting to be like a 3-4 guy. He's put on one thing that's different about Justin this year is he put on some muscle. His body is totally changed, and I think he's going to be a force this year in our district down there.
Okay, Coach Allen.
Plays really hard, high motor. Once again, another kid that I've been coaching against since he was in the 6th grade. Comes from a really good family. High motor guy again. I want to see him develop his ball handling skills and particularly going left. He has a real good right to left crossover one dribble, but I want to see him go left more. Be able to hit the 15, the mid range to 3-point shot better. If he's gonna do really well at the high school level, but projecting him at the collegiate level, he's gonna have to be able to be a better rebounder, create more off the dribble, and hit open shots.
Good point. Corey?
Yeah, Justin is a high energy guy, super athlete. Maybe along with like a Kenny Thompson, the one or two best athletes in the city in the senior class. And I mean, his thing to me has always been just playing to his strengths. You know, being active, defending, getting to the rim, offensive rebounding, being a slasher, going to the foul line. And I think if he sticks to that on the high school level, they can't stop him. And he'll have a monster year. And we talked about it with James Johnson. Roger Bacon has a chance to have a special year.
Excellent.
Basketball Hustle TV, number 17.
At number 17 on our top 25 selection, Isaiah Payton from the Crusaders of Moeller. I know that you're high on him, so I will allow you to talk about this prospect.
Well, first of all, everybody calls Isaiah Payton sleepy. And it's funny because I had a conversation with Coach Carl Kramer at Moeller about a year ago, and he told me at Moeller it's Isaiah. And the reason is they don't want him to be sleepy. They want him to be active. And I think the big thing with sleepy is, you know, he's had 2 good years at Moeller, but now it's his team, and he needs to be a vocal leader. When I talk to Isaiah at my open gyms, he comes every week, and, you know, try and talk to him about, you know, being a vocal leader, being a dominant player, because he has the ability and he can play. It's just, you know, we take his leadership to the next level. He's lightning quick. He can make some shots, but he's just really good around the rim making plays. You know, has Division I interest, has a Division I offer, and it's going to have a huge year at Moeller.
Coach Hill?
Real big fan of, I call him Sleepy. Real big fan. Just to see him, I think what he's done since the high school season to now, just his ability to finish at the rim through contact. I mean, it's huge. It's a huge difference from how that young man has developed his game, especially finishing at the rim.
Coach Allen?
I saw Isaiah play for All Ohio Red 16U, being a part of the same umbrella. Kid is poised. They played some big-time basketball, and the kid was never flustered. He kept the same face, always had positive body language, can hit the shot. He wasn't their primary ball handler. However, he did a great job of getting others involved, hitting timely threes, playing good D, and just being a good teammate.
Well, I tell you, you know, when I see Isaiah, a.k.a. Sleepy, you know, I think that he's improved tremendously from You know, just being the kid that I've seen when he was younger to where he is now, you know, it's something to be said about what they do at Moeller. I'm a Princeton guy. It was ingrained in me at a young age to not like Moeller, but liking Moeller and respecting Moeller is two totally different things. And I can respect the program and the way they handle business at Moeller.
Yeah, let me say one more thing about Sleepy too that comes to mind is that I really respect what he's done in terms of being able to play both styles of basketball. Where at Moeller they play a very deliberate, slower style of basketball, and he succeeds there. In AAU open gym, his strength is getting out and going in transition, and he can do both things. And not a lot of guys can do that, and I think that's why he's where he is on this list.
Do you think Moeller opened it up for him this year because he is good in transition?
They've got a lot of guards. They always have talent, and they always seem to play a winning style. So Coach Kramer's going to do what it takes to win. I think that. I mean, I know he'll have his hands full guarding C.J. Fleming. I think that'll be priority one for him.
Absolutely.
Basketball Hustle TV, number 16.
Okay, we're going to move on to number 16 on our top 25, and that is none other than James Johnson out of Bacon. Corey, thoughts on him?
Love James Johnson. There's a lot of talent on Roger Bacon. They went to the Final Four last year, Division III. They're the favorites to do it again. They got a lot of their guys back. And James Johnson is not the most exciting prospect on that team, but he's probably their most important player. He's come from, when he was young, I was kind of critical on him in terms of effort, and he's done a complete 180. He plays incredibly hard in the defensive end, block shots, rebounds, and then offensively, he's just a great pick and pop shooter, adding different things to his game, and I think he's probably one of the best kept secrets in Cincinnati and all of Southwest Ohio, really.
Feel free.
Kid's been working. James, too, works out at Gamble. He can flat out stroke the basketball, man. He can flat out stroke it. He'll be a great stretch forward at the D2 level, maybe low Division I level. Very humble kid. Look forward to watching Roger Bacon play. We have more free time due to our schedule and how it's set up. I'm a fan of James. He works, man. And any kid that works, you cannot put a limit on that person, on that individual. Going to have a big year.
Absolutely.
If he's allowed to.
That's a great point. Absolutely. Coach Hill, want to chime in?
Love James. James, a kid that can do it all. Over the last couple of years, his game has developed where he can handle the ball a little bit more, going to his right and to his left. He's a great shooter, a spot-up shooter from three. Now he's trying to take you off the dribble a little bit. James has a bright future ahead of him.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Basketball Hustle TV, number 15.
All right, number 15 was a very debatable pick, but I, as commentator and as part of the Brain Trust, I like the pick, and that's Elijah Allen out of Gamble. We're going to start with Mr. Corey here, but before that happens, I'm going to say this. Competitor, gets buckets, and takes care of his business. I like kids like that. He could play for me any day. Corey, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, Elijah Allen's a really, really skilled player, really shoots the ball. I saw him play with All How Black, saw him play last year at Coach McMillan's season preview at Woodward. He's a very skilled player, strong for a point guard, even though he doesn't have the most natural size. And I think the thing with Elijah, we're going to find out is we got a lot of really good senior point guards that are smaller guards that can score and are tougher kids, and we're going to see, who can separate themselves this year. And the opinion of the board here was that he's one of them.
Absolutely. We shall see the cream rise to the top, as it always does. Right. Now, I know this is a good one for you. This is your son you're talking about.
Right.
But more importantly, what I've appreciated is the fact that you've debated for him objectively. It wasn't just because he was your child,
right,
but as his coach,
right,
and as a player, you felt that he was deserving of that. Tell us why.
Absolutely. Let me first say that from the time that I've coached Elijah, it's never been a father-son thing. Growing up, if I found a better point guard, he would have played in front of him. It is a challenge because to the outside world, he's your son, so you're going to take care of him. It's not like that. If you're around me, if you play for me, that's not the situation. Elijah, like you said, is highly skilled. He can shoot the ball. He gets knocked sometimes because he plays for Gamble. But if you can play, you can play. That's why we scheduled Schroeder this year. That's why we scheduled Woodward this year. That's why we scheduled Finneytown. Thought they was going to have Darius Baisley. Wanted to play against West Side, but they didn't want to play against us until later on. We're going to have some pretty interesting scrimmages this year because I want to get notoriety for Gamble, and I want him to play against the so-called other good players. He had a real good AAU summer, and I saw him against some really good ball clubs. So, I think a lot of his issues come from me being his dad, flat out. People may feel how they feel about me, but don't knock the kid because I'm his son, because I'm his dad, and people know he can play. He got a chip on his shoulder. He told me he's a very humble kid, and we were in the weight room recently, and I was getting up in him, and he said, people can say what they want to say with me, but this year gonna be a year where people gonna pay a price. Not bragging, that's just how it's gonna be. We look forward to playing this year.
Absolutely. Hearing that coming from him, I'm ready to see it.
As a kid that don't talk much, but he feels disrespected. He played with a chip on his shoulder last year. He has a boulder on it right now.
Basketball Hustle TV, number 14.
Moving on to number 14 on our list, out of Walnut Hills High School, none other than Kenny Thompson.
Time out. Hey, Coach Cardo. Whatever juice you drink every day in the morning, I want some of that action because you guys are loaded over there. Kenny can go. I'm sorry, but
keep going.
I've been coaching against Kenny since 4th grade, right? CJ Fleming, what's the kid from LaSalle? Black kid, D'Amico. So CJ, D'Amic, and Kenny were on the same team for Friars. They were well coached. Kenny's a tough guy. He gets buckets.
Yes, he does.
Sometimes I don't know how he gets buckets, but he gets buckets. He reminds me of Sylvester Allen from back in the day. Seal he can rebound, get you a bucket. He can get to the basket, hit the jumper, get to the free throw line. The moment will not be too big for him. He's not afraid of the big game. He can take tough coaching, in which he's going to get from Coach Hill. Solid kid, solid family. I'm a fan.
Here's my thing with Kenny. And Kenny, I saw him play at North College Hill a couple times last year, and Kenny just plays with a mean streak. He's just hyper-competitive.
Yeah.
He wants to not just score on you, but dunk on you. And I think the interesting thing with Coach Ricardo this year at Walnut is, he's always been used to at North College Hill, I'm the one who shoots the ball. And he's going to get plenty of shots at Walnut, but it's going to be a team thing. And I think, how he adjusts to that role, we know we can defend, we know we can score, but how he adjusts to playing around a lot of other talent is going to be what's interesting to follow.
Right.
Great point.
Same situation as Coach Paul.
Right.
Yeah.
We think we look at Kenny as one of those guys that can do a little bit of everything. I think on a collegiate level, guys are going to look at him as with the potential that can come in, especially if it's a low D1 or a Division II program where he can come in and be a defensive stopper immediately and play as a young guy. Mm-hmm. So that's the type of potential that he has.
Okay. Well, when I was at Clark, we had our run-ins with Kenny, and I tell you, he gave us fits. I used to wake up in cold sweats because of that kid. His brother too. Absolutely.
His brother's at Central State now.
Absolutely, yeah. I just recently heard that.
There's a lot of coaches in the Miami Valley Conference happy to see him not at North College anymore. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
Basketball Hustle TV, number 13.
All right, moving on. Number 13 on our list, out of Mason High School, the Comets, none other than Matt Cain. Corey, I know you deal with him. That's your guy.
Why does Corey get to talk about all the white guys?
Because he's white.
Is it racial?
No. I fought hard for Matt King, and one of the things.
Is Tyler Mitchell black?
My bad.
White chocolate. What do you expect?
Okay, he mixed.
But no. One of the reasons I fought for Matt King is because I think he's the best player on a really good high school team in Mason, and he's one that, you know, his numbers might not even be the greatest, but he just does so many things, whether it's defending multiple positions, rebounding. He's a tremendous passer, if not really a big point guard in some ways. He shot the ball well, and he's just a competitor. He's going to play his role and not complain. And Mason plays such a structured system that, you know, sometimes you look at their kids in other systems and you think, well, I don't know about him. But if you watch them play in a Mason uniform, they really stand out, and that's what Matt King does for them.
They got a really good coach out there.
Absolutely.
That man can coach his behind.
And Matt is athletic also.
Deceptively athletic.
No doubt about it. Matt will dunk on you.
Okay.
And then real quick, you know, he played on that AAU team with Evan Coleman and Eddie Puises from Mason and a couple kids from Springboro, and it's a team, Ohio Unity, that not a lot of people gave credit to, but you look at their 3-year win record, 15 through 17, and they were a great team, and all those kids are going to go to school for free.
That's true.
Be it Division I, Division II.
That's true.
That's very true.
I'm surprised they don't have a shoe sponsor deal yet, because they win. Their 16s won the Nationals.
Yeah.
The 17s did a pretty good job. They've always been good.
And they had the advantage, you know, Troy Holtree was the coach of that AAU team, you know, was a coach at Springboro for a long time. So they had really good coaching, and you can see all those kids, you know, Coleman, King, some of the other kids we're going to talk about later, they just know how to play. And it's tough in AAU to beat a team where those kids played together since they were how old? You've been playing
5th grade, 6th grade?
Right, so you've been coaching against them that long.
Wow. That says an awful lot.
Basketball Hustle TV, number 12.
Number 12 on our top 25 selection show, none other than Woodward's own Mr. Will Coker. I think for this one, since we all kind of know what's going on with Will as far as his ability, so I'm going to let us all chime in. First thing I'll say, when I think of Will, I think of a kid who could just flat out get to the basket at will. You know, just do his thing when he has the ball in his hands. So, Coach Allen, please chime in.
That young man already giving me headaches. We see Woodward in January. He may very well be the most explosive kid with the ball in his hands on this list, and maybe even in the city even. You have to really prepare for this guy. You know, he can go for 30 at any given time. Just a problem. We have a good relationship. He's a competitor. Just a handful, man. If Will develops a jump shot, if he's developed one, unguardable. Can't guard him. You can't guard him. Your only hopes of stopping Will Coker is setting up a wall with your team. So, that's it.
Okay. Corey.
Yeah, man, another one. Coach Berto, Coach Wright had it on the head, but I enjoy on Saturday mornings getting on Facebook and watching the Will Coker football highlights. He's a versatile kid. You know, he's a really good football player, and you know he's got that Reggie Bush style of playing football, which is funny because that's how he plays basketball.
Sure is.
And it's, you know, it amazes me some of these teams press him because he just runs right around it.
Why would you press that?
Like they said, if he could shoot the ball, he's going to be a great player, but he could also defend with a lot of effort. He's strong for his size, fast as they come, so he'll be a great player at Woodward, and Coach McMillan's going to have a nice team, and they might win the City League. They easily could.
Coach Hill.
I like what Berto said, the problem, because Will give the other team problems.
Absolutely.
Just a big fan of him.
Absolutely.
My head already hurting.
Because you have him on schedule this year.
We have
correct?
Woodward on schedule. Now back to what Corey just said about Paul. Paul has his hands full. That's Coach Paul it is. My question is, how are they going to mesh those egos? How are they going to mesh straining of the basketball? You build your chemistry and team togetherness over the summer, right? Are the Woodward guys going to accept Lonnie Berry coming in?
And they got some guys that got to do it in the classroom as well.
Absolutely. So, as we all know up here as coaches, sometimes having a very talented team can be a headache in itself. And Coach Paul's assistant coaches and teachers, it's going to take a village to get that team to where they should be. On paper, the most talented team in Cincinnati. But paper don't win you games and championships. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out in a positive way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Big thing I think that they have going for them is they have a coach who everyone respects. You know, I think Paul does a lot of things in the community that garners him a lot of respect from a lot of people, which is a good thing. So, you know, I'm going to be like you guys. Even though I live in Springfield, I'm going to be on Cincinnati.com every night, and we'll be, you know, sticking with our game of the weeks and everything, just checking on that. That's going to be pretty fun to watch.
Basketball Hustle TV, number 11.
We're here at the Basketball Hustle TV Top 25 Selection Scouting Report. We are here at Martino's on Vine Street, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45219. Come for dine-in or carry-out. They also do catering. Check them out on the web at martinosonvine.com. And we're going to keep it moving along with our number 11 selection out of Kings High School, Tyler Mitchell. Coach Allen, care to talk to us about Tyler?
My first encounter with Tyler Mitchell took place when he was at the sixth grade on the AAU circuit. And each year he's gotten better. Phenomenal ball handler. He's great with the pick and roll. Can shoot off the pick and roll. Can stand still, shoot. He can pass the ball. Has to improve defensively. He's a player that has soul to his game. One of the knocks on Tyler is his mental state. But he's a great player, has Division I offers, Division II offers, just a great high school basketball player.
Corey.
Yeah, I think Berto hit it on the nose. You know, he's just got a lot of flavor to his game, a lot of swagger to his game, and you know, kids pick up on that. They want to play with Tyler because you know, not only is he going to make the pass, but he's going to make the fancy pass sometimes, and you know, it's got a lot of ability. The reason Division I's like him is because of his speed, his ability to shoot the ball, and he's a competitor. And you know, he wants to be one of the best point guards out there. He wants to play on a high level, and you know, at Kings this year, you know, he's used to going against, you know, Coach Ricardo's guys and playing against teams that might have more talent, but he's always found a way to put numbers up.
Excellent. Coach Hill, I know you've had dealings with Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler's one of those tough kids that can do a lot on the basketball court. I call him white chocolate because it reminds me a lot of Jason Williams.
Okay.
Back when he was with the Heat, and or even when he was with
Sacramento
the Kings.
Yeah.
But Tyler wants, like Corey said, he wants to make the spectacular play a lot. But he competes, man. I mean, he's just one of those guys that competes, and you win with those guys. He's coming. They'll have a great team this year, and I'll be glad when he graduates.
Basketball Hustle TV.